Good day, future scientists! Welcome to the world of science. Let us have fun and exciting learning today with me, Teacher Weng, your science buddy. Have your pen, paper, and module ready. For today, we are going to talk about separating mixtures using a magnet here in our science class. In our previous lesson, you have learned about separating mixtures through decantation. As a review, what is decantation? Decantation is a technique used in separating a less dense substance from a dense one. In the process of decantation, the mixture is left undisturbed. When the components are separated, the less dense substance can be removed by slowly pouring out the less dense substance. Put a check mark if the condition stated involves decantation process, and mark X if not. Write your answers on your paper. Number 1. Soil and water. The correct answer is check. Number 2. Oil and water. The correct answer is check. Number 3. Iodized salt and water. The correct answer is X. Since this mixture is separated through the process of evaporation and not decantation. Number 4. Gasoline and water. The correct answer is check. Number 5. Rice grains and flour. The correct answer is X. Since this mixture is separated through the process of sieving and not decantation. That was great, future scientists! You really understood our previous lesson. For me to know if you have prior idea about our topic for today, let us try to answer the following questions. Choose the letter of your correct answer. Write your answers on your paper. Number 1. How will you separate a mixture of metal and non-metal objects? The correct answer is letter C, by using a magnet. Number 2. What method of separating mixture is being illustrated? The correct answer is letter A, magnetic separation. Number 3. Which of the following objects can be separated using a magnet? The correct answer is letter D, coin. Number 4. The following mixture of materials can be separated by a magnet except for letter B, water and flour. How many points you got, my dear learners? That's good! If you find the questions hard, don't worry because I'm here to help you understand our lesson. So, are you ready to learn something today? I bet you are. Okay, let's get started. Have you experienced that your pins mix up with your tack powder? What techniques did you use to separate the pins from your tack powder? Have you tried of using a magnet in separating them? At the end of this lesson, you will learn how to, number 1, describe the techniques in separating mixtures using a magnet. And number 2, how are you going to apply these techniques in everyday life? Components of mixtures can be separated by many ways. The method that is being used usually depends on the type of mixture. Metal and non-metal objects can be separated using a magnet. Magnetic separation is a technique of separating the components of mixtures by using a magnet to attract metal materials. There is no chemical reaction involved in the separation of components using a magnet. Metals which are made up of alloy, nickel, or cobalt are easily attracted to the magnet, while non-metals are not. Iron fillings, thumbtacks, staple wire, pins, coins, and needle are some common examples of objects that are attracted to the magnet. When they mix with non-metals, this could be separated by magnet. Are you excited to our activity time? So let's have our activity time. But before that, my dear learners, remember that in whatever things that you do, be extra careful. There are many activities at home that you need to consider. Like plugging in your appliances must not be done if your hands are wet. Why? Because you might get electrocuted. And in holding pointed objects, wear gloves if necessary. Or hold the object the right way. Always put in mind the words, better safe than sorry.
In this activity, you shall learn how to separate mixtures using a magnet. These are the materials that we need: rice granules, thumbtacks, paper, and magnet. First, mix the rice granules and the thumbtacks in the bond paper. Using a magnet, you separate the thumbtacks from the rice granules. Finally, observe what happened. Number 1. What are the different components of our mixture? Right! The different components of our mixture are rice granules and thumbtacks. Number 2. What type of mixture is the rice granules and thumbtacks? A homogeneous mixture or heterogeneous mixture? Explain your answer. Very good! The mixture of thumbtacks and rice granules is an example of heterogeneous mixture because we can distinguish the two components. Number 3. How did we separate the components of the mixture? Excellent! We separated the components of the mixtures with the use of a magnet. The thumbtacks got magnetized and were attracted to the magnet.
So, that's our activity time. I hope that you learned something from our experiment today. My dear learners, do you want another activity? Yes, let's have another activity. Put a yes if the mixtures can be separated by a magnet, and no if not. Write your answers on your paper. Number 1. Oil and water. The correct answer is no. Number 2. Flour and paper clips. The correct answer is yes. Number 3. Staple wire and tissue paper. The correct answer is yes. Number 4. Thumbtacks and bits of paper. The correct answer is yes. And number 5. Tack powder and bond paper. The correct answer is no. We have done my dear learners. I'm happy that you participated actively. Now, let's move to what's more. Choose from the box the mixtures that can be separated by magnet. Can we separate acetone in water using a magnet? No, we cannot. Can we separate grains and husks using a magnet? No, we cannot. Can we separate thumbtacks in paper using a magnet? Yes, we can. Can we separate coins in grains using a magnet? Yes, we can. Can we separate staple wire and paper using a magnet? Yes, we can. Can we separate iron filling and sulfur powder using a magnet? Yes, we can. Can we separate pins and buttons using a magnet? Yes, we can. Can we separate soap and shampoo using a magnet? No, we cannot. Now, let's move to what I have learned. Complete the statements below by choosing the correct answers from the given choices in the box. I learned that blank is a technique used to separate blank from blank. Metals are attracted to the blank while non-metals are not. Mixture of blank and tack powder can be separated by magnetism. I learned that magnetic separation is a technique used to separate metals from non-metals. Metals are attracted to the magnet while non-metals are not. Mixture of iron fillings and tack powder can be separated by magnetism. Very good, my dear learners. I know that you learned something from our lesson because you did well in our activity. My dear learners, are you ready with our next activity? What I can do. Answer the questions. Write your answers on your paper. Number 1. Based on the given illustration, what are the different components of the mixture? Right! The different components of the mixture are paper clips and tack powder. Number 2. How can the components of the mixture of tack powder and paper clips be separated? Very good! The components of the mixture of tack powder and paper clips can be separated with the use of a magnet, since paper clips are attracted to the magnet. Well done, my dear learners! Indeed, you really understand our lesson. I hope that you would apply what you have learned because that is what scientists do. Now, my dear learners, are you ready with our assessment? That's great! So, now let's have our assessment. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Do it on your paper. Number 1. Metal and non-metal objects can be separated by using a blank. The correct answer is letter B, magnet. Number 2. How will you separate mixture of metal and non-metal objects? The correct answer is letter C, by using a magnet. Number 3. Needle and sawdust can be separated by means of blank? The correct answer is letter B, magnetic separation. Number 4. How will you separate mixture of staple wire and chalk powder? The correct answer is letter C, by using a magnet. Number 5. Mrs. Cruz's needle was mixed with bits of paper. How will she separate the needle safely from the bits of paper? The correct answer is letter C, by using a magnet. So, how do you find our assessment, my dear learners? Is it easy? Yes, I know that it is very easy for you because you participated actively in our lesson. Well done, my dear learners! If you want to watch this video lesson again, you can get the file from me through ShareIt, Bluetooth, or flash drive. Because if you cannot remember everything that we discussed today, you can play the video over and over again in your Android phone or in your laptop. Remember that our one true God is always watching us in everything that we do. He protects us from any harm, and even to our unseen enemy, which is the COVID. Put in mind that no one or no virus can stop us from learning. It's me, Teacher Weng, your science buddy, and leaving you this message that it is better to learn slowly than to not learn at all. Bye for now, kids!